This is a portable hard drive, specifically a Seagate Freeagent desktop portable enclosure. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to remove the hard drive from inside of it. Now, there's a handful of reasons why you would want to do that. I do not normally recommend this. However, if the drive has gone bad or you have data that you need to get off the drive and for whatever reason it's no longer working, this might be your only solution. Sometimes the connections between the outside and the actual hard drive go bad and the hard drive itself is good. So what we want to do is get the drive out so we can get the data off of it. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. Now, the very first time you take this thing apart, it is going to be difficult. I am not going to lie, because it is factory sealed and these things were built by robots. But what you want to do is you want to separate this metal cover right here from the plastic when the hard drive is inside. So what you're going to have to do is get some kind of pry tool. This is one that I use here. Comes with most screwdriver sets like this, and you can, there's a link in the description if you want to check it out. You can buy one at Walmart or you can just have Amazon drop ship it to you. Love this thing. It's got every tool you need, including a plastic pry tool. And as a bonus, if you're a guitar player, go grab a guitar pick and it will work just the same. It costs you nothing. If you look closely, you'll see there's a very clear line between the top and bottom here. What you have to do is just find a weak point to where you can get this tool inside and start popping it out. Now, obviously, if you know the drive is going bad, this enclosure is absolutely worthless to you, so you could use a metal screwdriver and definitely get in here a lot easier and a lot quicker. If you plan on keeping this enclosure, then you definitely want to stick with plastic, because then you'll be able to put everything back together. And the reason I say that is because, as I said in the beginning of the video, sometimes when you plug in your USB connection here, the connection from here to the hard drive is actually bad. And sometimes it's even the power connector. So if you think that it's the enclosure connections and not the actual drive itself, then you could go ahead and, of course, just tear this thing apart. If you don't know, it's always best to try to keep it intact if possible. So I'm going to continue to work at this until I find a weak spot. A little trick I sometimes use is I will actually take the screwdriver and just try to use the strength of the metal screwdriver to find that weak spot. And then once I find it, go ahead and use the plastic. It may cause a tiny bit of cosmetic damage, but the reality is most of the time these things just sit on a desk anyway and doesn't really matter. I use the metal screwdriver to create separation, and now that I have that, now I have the means to take my plastic and start separating it from the rest of the case. But as stated before, if cosmetic is an issue, then just keep working at it with the plastic. And once you get it open, then you just kind of work it around. Eventually you work it enough with these little tabs here and you'll be able to separate it. Just takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of elbow grease. Starting to make some progress here. And so what will happen is eventually you work at it enough, you'll be able to get your plastic piece down in here and pry it apart. Now we got around to the front, and you can see these little tabs here, what's holding the thing together. Just kind of have to work at it, snap it. You just keep working the edges, and eventually it will give. And you can lift it with your fingertips right off. And see, it's still in good shape. Everything is here inside this metal enclosure, which just physically lifts right out. And the hard drive is inside here. Now you can just pull that out like that. Now you're dealing with just the enclosure itself. You've got a series of screws here. I'm going to remove. On the Seagate, there's just these three. If you have a Western Digital or Maxtor or a different type of drive, you may have different configuration, but the long and short of it is what you need is inside here. So I'm going to take these plastic knobs off, which cover the screws. And the next step on the Seagate, you've got three screws, one here, and one here, and you just remove those. And now you can physically lift the cover off to reveal your existing hard drive, which you can see is just a standard desktop hard drive with a SATA connector. And you've got your circuit board here with SATA connector. So this is what I was getting at earlier, is if you're not 100% sure whether the enclosure is the problem. And I have seen this where the actual circuit board in here, I've seen one of these capacitors melted, everything powered on but nothing would work. And if it's this circuit board that's the problem, this hard drive is actually good. Before you send this off to be tested, just take another hard drive, and it can be a desktop drive or a laptop drive, it doesn't matter. Plug in the USB and physically take the power cord and plug it in. Windows just said, hey, I see a new hard drive, and sure enough, it pops up on my screen. So that tells me that this circuit board right here is good. The bad news is that means this drive is going bad. Now that I know the circuit board is good, I'm going to go ahead and plug it back in. Okay. In case you didn't know it, that is a dead hard drive. Now, just to be sure that it wasn't an issue with anything else, I put the drive in my external drive reader here, and it's making the same sound. So that tells me that the drive is in fact bad and most likely unrecoverable by traditional means. So unfortunately for the client, turns out his hard drive is actually bad. But I hope this video helped you learn how to take one of these apart without absolutely destroying it. So if you enjoyed this video or you got any use from it, click on that like button down below. It tells YouTube that you enjoyed my content, and then it shares it with more people, and it helps my channel grow. If you like this type of content, make sure you click on subscribe. As an added bonus, I have tons of other videos that I've made with other fixes and how-tos and Windows troubleshooting and all kinds of cool stuff. So make sure you check out my video library below. In the meantime, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.